Everybody, this is Julia from the Macedon Public Library. I'm going to be sharing what I was hoping would be a successful cooking demonstration today. Actually, this is something that I tried yesterday, 3 different recipes, and they're all using microwaves and they're all using minimal ingredients because that's what I was kind of going for. We filmed it using other technology. We had some sound issues as well as some other things because we're working with what we've got at home. So I will be sharing the video that you can watch what I did as I tried 3 different microwave recipes, and then I'll talk over and kind of explain it. And then at the end, I'll show the screen of the actual recipe to follow, so the list of ingredients and how to do it. And then hopefully you guys can try it at home and have much better success. And then you can share it with us at the library, and we can do more of this, or just go on and try something else. Forget that this even happened. Anyway, so bear with me while I share my screen. I'll get to the video. And okay, so hopefully you can see this. How do I make this go full screen? All right, so now let's see if I can start it. There we go. Okay, so this is my kitchen table. So the first recipe is chocolate chip cookies. So I'm showing you everything that I've got. There's some butter there that needs to be melted. So these are basically mug cake ideas, except that they're not cakes. This is supposed to be a cookie. So butter, and then I have white sugar and brown sugar and a pinch of salt. And then I have regular flour, and I don't know why I was showing that again. This is just using an egg yolk. So I've already split it. I tried to film how I separate an egg, but that didn't work out. And then also some chocolate chips for a chocolate chip cookie. And I'm pouring in a little bit of vanilla, some vanilla extract. Very common. So these are probably things that you have around your house anyway, in small quantities. So first I'm gonna, I did microwave, look at that. I microwaved and melted the butter. And I don't know why I keep showing into the camera. I probably was saying something quite witty. That is now forever lost. So you're gonna add the egg and so you add the wet ingredients all at the beginning. So the butter and the vanilla and the egg. And you mix it up, and that's, an interesting shot of my hand covering the cup. And then add the sugars. If you were making this like a big batch, you probably made cookies before, you'd normally cream the butter and the sugars together. So I'm following some ingredients, some recipes that I found online. Okay, so then in goes the flour. You get the dry stuff. Stir it together. I actually added a little less flour than it suggested because it looked like it was going to be too much. And in the end, I think I did actually add in a little bit more just because it looked very wet. And that could have been part of my problem. And then in goes the chocolate chips. This is a blend of miniature chocolate chips and milk chocolate chips. It's about 1/4 of a cup. The recipe that I was following was from England, and it called for 30 grams. I do actually have a scale, so I measured it out, and it turned out to be about 1/4 of a cup. I really tried to let you see what was in the cup, and it didn't work out. I just keep stirring, stirring, keep stirring. And eventually it's going to go in the microwave. All right, cut, fade. Okay, now this is the inside of my microwave with the cup in it. So this is sped up. I think it's suggested doing it 30 seconds at a time, doing it for about a minute and checking every once in a while until it looks cooked and cookie-like. So I had to do it a couple times. You can see it's kind of drying out a little bit. Went in for another 30 seconds. It's a lovely cup, by the way. This is something that I got as a holiday present this past Christmas for one of the other staff members, and I told her how much I really like it. I use it a lot for coffee and hot cocoa, especially in the wintertime. And it's a nice big cup that I thought would work for this because there's room for stirring. Anyway, okay, so kind of touching it. We kind of lost focus a little bit. Okay, so now this is the second recipe. We'll cut back to that at the end. So the second recipe is for brownies, a microwave brownie. So again, we start out with basically the same ingredients. We've got some butter. This is 2.5 tablespoons full. In this brownie recipe called for brown sugar and white sugar as well. I've never made brownies with brown sugar. Anyway, we've got the egg yolk, again, just the yolk, and some vanilla, which I've already added. The one thing you're not gonna, and there's chocolate chips to go in there. The one thing you're not gonna see is the flour, because I forgot to add the flour. I was moving as I weighed things out and separated them in preparation. We have a new cat in our house, and he does like to get on the table, unfortunately. And so when I was moving things over for each of the projects, I forgot the flour. So at this point, I'm talking on who knows about what, and not even realizing that I don't have flour there. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I used the regular measuring cup this time so you could actually see through it. So hopefully this will look a little bit better. There's the melted butter, add the wet ingredients, stir, 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 chop, chop, chop. I don't know what I'm doing. Kind of breaking the yolk, I guess. And go the sugar, the cocoa powder, a pinch of salt. In goes half the chocolate chips. That'll be coming next. I'm getting the sugars in there. It did smell really good with the cocoa powder. And unfortunately, we have very little cocoa powder left. So, you know, I thought, well, I could try and do it again. We're also low on eggs. So, so at this point, until we get more groceries coming in the house, I think we're done with this kind of recipe. So chocolate chips, again, this is just the milk chocolate, just the regular. And it said to add half. So I stirred that in, not even realizing that, wait a minute, this isn't thick enough. It does not have any flour in it. I'm completely oblivious. I don't know. Anyway, I put it in the microwave. And again, this is sped up. I think it was about a minute. Yeah. And it really was bubbling, and it was smelling really nice and chocolatey, and it was kind of growing. It looked like it was growing like you'd expect. You can kind of see it raising up a bit there in the microwave. Put it in again for another 30 seconds. Didn't even realize there's no flour. Whatever. I was in the moment. There's the other half. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't really growing. I think the next after this, I did finally take it out and said, wait a minute, this doesn't look like it looks too wet. It just looks like it's all bubbly butter, and which is, you know, I enjoy butter. So I started pouring in some flour directly, and it kind of thickened up. And then I looked up and I saw the bowl of, this actually called for 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour. I saw the bowl of flour, I added the flour, I microwaved it again. I don't think we didn't do it. I'm gonna pause it right here before we get to the next point. So when you measure out your ingredients ahead of time, I just want to make sure that you can learn from my mistake and make sure that you keep them all together in one place. When you're ready to use them, you have your ingredients that you need. And don't miss out on like the biggest ingredient of the whole recipe. I mean, I guess without the cocoa powder, you wouldn't have brownies. I don't know what they would be. It would be just like a cake, thick cake. Anyway, when I did finally add the flour and I cooked it in the microwave a little bit, you'll see what it looks like at the end. And actually, that's the one that I thought tasted the best out of everything. But it was a bit of a mess up. Anyway, okay, so because I made the chocolate chip cookie and the brownie, and they both called for egg yolks, I thought, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to waste, right? We only have so many eggs in the house. I don't want to waste the egg whites. So when I think of egg whites, I think of meringues. Now, I also have an allergy to egg whites and the protein in the egg whites, so I can't eat meringues, but my family enjoys meringues. So I thought, well, fine, we can use the egg whites, and I can make meringues. And I looked up a meringue recipe in the microwave, and I thought, well, why not? Let's try this. We'll add this in. So normally when you make meringues, if you've ever tried them, you take a lot of egg whites and you add some cream of tartar, and you whip it up with beaters or a mixer of some kind. And you really whip it, and it incorporates lots of air into it, make it big and light and fluffy, and you add some sugar, and then you pipe it onto a tray, and you bake it in an oven, a low temperature, for hours, like many, many hours. So I thought, well, how this recipe for microwave isn't going to take hours. So what is it going to be like? So I thought, well, whatever. I've got the egg white. I don't want to waste it. So we'll try it. So this is what we did. So this, again, this is another recipe I got online. This is basically a bowl of powdered sugar. I think it's about 2 cups of powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar, and 1 egg white. And you mix it together with your hands. So let's watch some of this. I think we either sped it up or maybe I deleted some of it. It took quite a while. And I really, really wish we had the audio for this because it was a really weird experience. And I talk about it the whole entire way and explain it. And it was squishy and icky and cold and wet, but yet dry. The powdered sugar is very kind of dry and got crumbly, and like it was squishing between my fingers. And I think I did mention I'm doing this for science so that you don't have to. But if you're bored and you have an extra egg white, you know, give it a try and just see what it feels like. It was very weird. And then I had to wash my hands really well to make sure that they didn't end up in my mouth and make me sick. Yeah, I added a little bit more because it was not coming together. Eventually, this is sped up. I don't work this fast. I had to wash my hands. Yep, there you go. You can see that. All right, when am I washing my hands? Okay, now I wash my hands. It does get to be like a pasty dough. And then you knead it a little bit. You kind of get it smoother as much as you can, but it's really, really dense and compact, finally. And then the instructions said you start with a microwave safe plate. So again, you're going to put it in the microwave and you put a piece of paper towel over it and you break off small balls. Hopefully I'm going to start doing that soon. Stop with the mixing. Yep, let's break off some balls. It said walnut sized. I don't know. We don't have walnuts. We don't have walnut trees. So I just broke off small balls. They ended up being different sizes. The first one is quite big. So you put them on the plate. You do, it said 3 or 4 at a time. Yeah, that one was too big. You spread them out because guess what? They're going to expand in the microwave and they're going to get spread out, which you'll watch because guess what? We filmed it in the microwave. And this is just egg white and sugar and a mess on my table, right? So here it is in the microwave, sped up. This was a minute. And you can see them getting bigger and now as they spread out. And then they kind of get to be like clouds. You can kind of see it steam up a little bit inside the microwave. And there's me walking around so you get my shadow on the microwave. Okay, so that's it. That's a minute. And that's what they're like. And then I did one in the middle just to see how big one would go. So again, another minute. And it kind of puffs up a little and gets big, and then it instantly just kind of like that. Bubbles. And come on, just finish. Just finish. There we go. So there we go. So this is what we have at the end. We also filmed a taste test. So it was myself and my husband, Brian. So I can't eat meringues because of my allergy, but my husband can. And so I pulled him over. So we have here, we have the, I don't know if you can see my mouse here. Pen. Let's do this color. So this is the cookie. When it cooled and it came out, it kind of looks like a cookie. It kind of looks like a chocolate chip cookie. It's pretty thick and it was kind of dense and it tasted good, but it wasn't really like a cookie. I mean, if you want a cookie and you can use your oven, then just make cookies. This is what was supposed to be the brownie, and you can tell that I'd added the flour at the end because it all got stuck and cooked on the side. It actually was, to me, it was the best tasting. It was sweet, it was chocolatey, it was very buttery. I think I mentioned I like butter. So there's that. And then up here is the meringues. They're very cloud-like, very light and fluffy. I mean, I think they probably make pretty decent frisbees. Something to I don't know, throw around outside and let it biodegrade. But so my husband tried that and he said it was just so sweet. It was just because it's basically you're just eating a mouthful of sugar. But it's light and crispy and it had the right texture for meringue. Um, but it wasn't good. So let me stop this. Just come back to me. So I wish you luck. Try these things. I don't know if you've ever tried any of the microwave cakes. They've been a thing for a while on the internet. It sounds like a great idea. Like when you have a sweet tooth and you just want something, you just want a cake now or a cookie now. I invited that positive. It was very messy for just a little bit of food, and but it didn't take a lot of food. It didn't take a lot of ingredients, so that definitely was good. So let me now share the screen with the recipes. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to move my camera. There we go. So microwave chocolate chip cookie recipe. It took 1.5 tablespoons of butter, 1.5 tablespoons of white sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, an egg yolk, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 4 tablespoons of plain flour, just regular flour, a pinch of salt, and a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. You microwave the butter first in the mug. Make sure the mug is big enough. I mean, that wasn't really much of an issue. Maybe I could have used a smaller cup and it might have worked out better. So you do the butter, and then you add the sugars, vanilla, and the egg yolk, and you kind of stir them, whisk them up. Then you add the salt and the flour, and till it's stirred. Fold in the chocolate chips, microwave for a minute or so, about 30 seconds at a time, until it is cooked and cookie-like. And just make sure that the dough is cooked. That's when I kind of stuck my finger in it to make sure it was dry. And then you take it out and allow it to cool before kind of loosening the sides and removing it from the cup. All right. Then the microwave brownie. So we have 2.5 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of white sugar. I think next time I just use white sugar but I had plenty of brown. That's fine. A tablespoon of cocoa powder, an egg yolk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour. That's what the recipe called for. I happen to have some in the house, so I used it. If you don't have the self-raising flour, I believe you can just use regular flour and you just add a little bit of baking powder to it, and you're adding a pinch of salt anyway. So that's kind of the only difference with it. And then again, 30 grams of chocolate chips, which is about 1/4 cup. I should have changed that here, but I didn't. I apologize. So you microwave the butter, very basically the same instructions you used last time. Add the wet ingredients to the butter, add the dry ingredients, but make sure you add the flour. Stir it, microwave it for 30 seconds at a time. Top it with more chocolate chips if you want. Microwave it for another 30 to 45 seconds. If you didn't add the flour, stir it all up, microwave it again, and then leave it to cool and enjoy. Yeah. So then we come down to the microwave meringues, which is about 2 cups of powdered sugar and an egg white. Mix it together with your hand. That's what it said. Maybe you could use a spoon or like maybe a wooden spoon because you could kind of like press it against the side of the bowl. It was an interesting experience. I don't know. Why not? Give it a try. Once you get it to be a dough, you kind of knead it a little bit and make it really firm. I was just thinking, it reminded me, maybe it would be like marzipan or something like that. I don't know. I've never worked with marzipan, but that's the concept that I have, that kind of a thick doughy log. I don't know. Then you roll it into small balls. You microwave them a couple at a time in the microwave for a minute. Let them cool. The paper towel, it peeled right off the paper towel, no problem, once it cooled. And then wait and then eat it. But it's going to be very sweet and a lot of sugar. All right. So those are the recipes, and that is the fun, visual fun that I had yesterday in trying these. I hope that maybe I brought a laugh to you or a smile. It's snowing outside this morning as I record it, and that's pretty depressing and icky, but there's sugar. So I will leave it at that. I hope you all have a great day and a great weekend. And be sure to check back to our website, macedonpubliclibrary.org, for more opportunities for live and also recorded programming. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.